and then you had missed 4 free throws before you had the opportunity to take the lead. How'd you all get this done?
Grit, determination, and defense. We know that when we do it down there on that end, we give ourselves a chance any night, no matter what's going on. Makes, misses, bad luck, good luck, it doesn't matter.
What allowed you to show up when it mattered and have the right mindset?
I just had to keep attacking. They were very aggressive in their coverages, but like always, we didn't use it as an excuse and find a way to get a W.
So, the Houston Rockets vs OKC Thunder gave us an amazing start to the 2025-2026 season, and to kick it off, Oklahoma City opened up the game with strong defense, forcing Alperen Sengun to pull up from deep, resulting in a miss, and immediately when pushing up the floor, the Thunder used the ball movement to get it from one side to the other, making the Rockets have to scramble to stop the ball. But look what you have near the corner. Yeah, that's Chet getting his stride to cut towards the rim, and now you have an and-one to start the NBA season.
Dort does it, Holmgren inside, bang in the bucket to get it going.
Now after a putback from Jabari Smith for the Rockets, the Thunder run this high ball screen for Shai, which leads to him getting doubled, and right here is where I want you to see how key it is to have a star player and guys around him who know how to move in space. With iHeart immediately available off the screen, Shai's able to pass it to him, and this makes Alperen Sengun have to run across to pick him up. This now presents a situation where 2 Rockets defenders have to guard 3 OKC players on the other side of the floor, so instead of staying put, Cason Wallace cuts towards the basket near the baseline, which makes Durant and Adams collapse on him in the paint. But while all this happens, Chet is moving towards the ball while Jabari Smith is ball watching, and once again, it's Chet for the bucket in close. Now when we flip to the defensive side, this is where the Thunder were changing the game. With Houston wanting to go to KD for a handoff with Adams, Lu Dort was doing everything in his power to deny this pass, just making it a struggle for KD to get open easily. So this here makes Adams go back to Sengun on the 3-point line with only 3 seconds left on the clock, and well, here comes the violation. OKC's defense will come out tight, but their offense was a little sloppy at times, as this failed lob attempt ended in a slam for KD on the other end, but they would quickly make up for that by going back to the hot-handed Chet Holmgren for the ISO on Durant off the screen, and with a little shimmy, this turnaround is straight cash. This game would truly be a back and forth to start things off, and to get the energy jumping, Lu Dort speeds past Sengun off the offensive rebound for the two-handed jam. Although the energy was high, this didn't stop Houston from battling, as they get an offensive rebound of their own, which then finds his way back to man Thompson, and man was he looking like a force when he got into the paint every time. With the Rockets up 1, OKC will run this out of bounds play, essentially jamming up KD so Chet can flare out to the 3-point line, and we already know it's pure butter. On the next trip down for OKC, we would see Houston go back into that zone, which did get them a steal a little earlier in the game, but this time Shai passes it to the wing, which now forces the defense to shift over, so once the pass goes back to Shai while Che cuts to the middle, it's all timed perfectly to exploit the gap in the defense, and with literally no one around him, Che can rise up to knock this down with no issue. At this point, Chet was the hot hand, so they would continue to play through him as he baited Jabari Smith into a foul when he got into this turnaround. But trust me, this was the game that kept on giving, as Amin Thompson would once again get into the paint to get an and-one off the floater. And with that smothering defense from Dort on Durant, we all get reminded just how skilled this Slim Reaper is as he attacks the paint to slip right around Dort and then converts the floater over the contest to get the tough bucket. Constantly, these two teams would take turns going back and forth at one another, as Shai was able to finally break free of pressure by punishing Eason, who gambled for the steal, to then skate in for an easy layup inside. And then when OKC would push the ball on the break, Lu Dort would get saucy with that handle to then spin off Reed Sheppard when attacking, and boy was that just nasty. At this point, OKC is up 1, so Houston goes to a 2-man action with Sengun and Durant to release Durant from that torture chamber, and upon attacking middle, KD is met with 3 defenders surrounding him. But hey, who are we kidding? It simply doesn't matter. This first quarter was highly entertaining while both teams shook off some rust, but OKC is who came out victorious, so let's dive deeper into what made them successful. Anytime they had the chance to push the pace, they would. But with AJ Mitchell being a solid playmaker, he understands to slow it down when there's no apparent advantage. And now if you look, he's able to dump it off to Chet, who gets the and one.
Turned away, but finds Holmgren coming all the way in. Contact in the foul, Holmgren.
Not only would Mitchell be the one to set things up, as Cason Wallace is the one who's charging at the defense this time to then set up Mitchell for the money ball in the corner. And to end this second quarter with a bang, AJ Mitchell would zoom up the floor off the inbound into a step back, and here we go with a 3 plus the foul.
Stepping back to take it. Contact and the basket.
This open floor nature would be uplifted by their defense, as here you can see Alex Caruso fighting hard to get around Sengun, which ends in him picking it off to go get an easy slam. And with the sped up pressure of Cason Wallace forcing Reed to lose focus and not get a handle on this pass, another energy booster is awarded to OKC. As we got into the later stages of the game, we would see Houston use that zone more often, so instead of staying in the middle this time, Chet decides to pop out, which now puts the Rockets in a weird situation when it comes to matching up. And if you look at the corner, you can see that Mitchell is wide open to make the cut to the rim, so all Chet has to do is get it there on time for a conversion inside. This zone will force one of the top guys to commit hard if the other was to get out of place, which leads to wide open trey balls like this one, so that's why you see both defenders closing out hard to take this away. But now once the ball is swung back to Shai, you'll see Houston commit back to Shai with aggression, and with patience, OKC now gets the shot they wanted. When you're dealing with a guy like SGA, it doesn't matter if it's a zone or not. He's going to pull defenders towards him due to his scoring threat, and here's where it's essential to have other playmakers around him. Now Lu Dort could have swung this right over to Cason Wallace, but he instead decided to attack the closeout. Right now, I want you all to look at iHeart. He notices what's going on, so he sets a back screen to make sure Chet is free near that corner, so all Dort has to do now is send it over to Chet to cash in from deep. This ability of OKC's players to hit the paint whenever they felt like it would lead to many open opportunities for them to put points on the board, and if it wasn't them getting inside, it would be the gravity of SGA that led to an open three that got the crowd rocking.
A Hogan three. Got 'em all.
Now, although Shai had a slow start to the game, boy oh boy did he finish strong. When he would push up the floor and get stopped one way, it wasn't like the play was completely destroyed, as he would calmly reset to get the screen, and when Sengun wanted to get out wide to stop the drive right, Shai would shift directions quickly to split the defense to get to the rim. Stopping Shai is probably one of the hardest things to do as a defender, because when he serves that pound dribble, you would assume he's going to step back. But nah, he's actually going to use it to set you up to then cross you over to get downhill, and once he has that step on you, it's not really much you can do. Houston would end up sending multiple defenders at Shai to give him different looks, but it simply didn't matter. When the premier defender in Amen Thompson was on him, Shai would use that combo handle to shake him off his route, to then sidestep for more space to pull up. When he got the switch onto the defensive liability in Reed Shepherd, he would start off with a clean shake to then throw in an in and out cross into a bump, opening up all this space for the easy jumper. And when the game was in crunch time, he would get to his sweet spot, which is going left, so he can use that right shoulder bump to shut off defenders, and this right here is just clutch.
SGA got it. Ties the game.
Shai would continue to have many of these moments where he would make defenders look helpless when guarding him, which would just end in more points on the board for OKC. And I'll promise you, at times it just looked like he was toying with defenders when he would start operating in isolation.
Gilgeous Alexander gives them the lead.
This right here was the perfect way to open up the NBA season. And for the Thunder, they still have a chip on their shoulder, as many people still doubt them for some reason, even though they're the reigning champs. For Houston, they need a point guard over there who can run the show. But shout out to Alperen Sengun for an amazing game. Let me know in the comments how you all felt about this first matchup. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you're first to know when I upload. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.